testimony to the magnitude of Allah and the oneness of Allah. So we all agree that there is no God except Allah. We agree, we understand that nothing came before Allah and that everything that exists because it was created by Allah alone. Allah knows everything. There's nothing that can hide from Allah. Allah is aware of everything large and everything small, even the smallest microorganisms that can be barely detected by the most powerful technology. Allah can see everything. There's nothing that can escape him. We all agree to that. Nothing can exist without him, and there's no power except by Allah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. There's no power or might except by Allah. So we got that understood. We understand it. Everybody on the same page. This is the God who we worship. Nothing or no one is worthy of worship except Allah. Okay, we got that straight, right? All right, we understand that. So why is it then that since we know that this God who we worship has all this power, why do we think that we need to try to impress anyone other than Allah? What makes us think that it's worthwhile that here's a God that created everyone and created everything that exists? Why do we think that it's important for us to try to impress anyone other than Allah and try to seek the approval of anyone other than Allah, or to seek to be validated by anyone other than Allah? Because we're just not thinking. And then here's the mistake. Here's a critical mistake that parents of the world make, that we try to inject that same attitude of thinking that people need to be impressed other than Allah. We have the audacity to inject that same attitude into our children. If we know that there's nothing greater and stronger than Allah, nothing more important than Allah, then why is it then we have children, we tell them, if you wash the dishes, mommy and daddy will be proud of you. If you make your prayers, mommy and daddy will be proud of you. If you wear your hijab, Fatima, wear your khimar, mommy and daddy will be proud of you. Son, if you memorize the Quran, we will be proud of you. We'll be happy with you. You will please us. If you wash the car, wash the dishes, if you clean the house, we'll be happy with you. We'll be proud of you. We'll be pleased with you. We don't realize what we're doing, but whenever we say that to the children, and we're subconsciously conditioning their mind to seek the approval of a human being. Because anytime someone seeks the approval of a human being, instead of seeking the approval of Allah, that's putting the emphasis on someone that's created, on created things, instead of putting the emphasis on Allah. So when we continue to tell our children that if you do this, we'll be proud of you. If you do that, we'll be proud of you. We continue to tell our children that we're subconsciously conditioning their mind to seek the approval of human beings, seek the approval of someone other than Allah. Now here's what happens. Here's how we begin to destroy our children's outlook. After we have spent several years almost brainwashing, teaching our children to seek the approval of human beings, telling them that when they do good, mommy and daddy will be proud of them and happy with them and pleased with them. And we've conditioned their mind to seek the approval of a human being. Then we send them off into the world. We send them to school. We send them to the marketplace. We send them places where they're around other human beings other than us. And when they get around those other human beings, they're their peers, their friends, the people they associate with in school and in the marketplace and in the arenas. Now, after we've spent years conditioning their mind and programming their mind to seek the approval of a human being, we send them away from us and put them around other human beings. These human beings that they're around may not have their best interests. They may not be trying to encourage them to do good things. These other human beings that our children are associating with now, when they're away from us, they're telling them similar things, only they're giving them other things to do. They're not telling them positive things to do. They're giving them negative things to enjoy. Oh, yes, if you smoke this cigarette, we'll be proud of you, we'll be happy with you, you'll be like one of us. If you take that rag off your head, Fatima, we'll like you more, you'll be one of us. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, if you take a sip of this wine or beer, you'll be one of us, we'll like you more. We've already conditioned our children to seek the approval of human beings because we've conditioned their mind to seek our approval and telling them that if they do these things, we'll be happy with them. So here's some other human beings, only they're not giving them positive things to do. They're not encouraging them to do positive things. The dilemma is now they're with their peers, and many of their peers have not been brought up in the same type of household, the same type of household that promotes positive things. So these peers, these children or young people in their age group are saying things to them, which is in response to the training that they may have had at home. And they're saying, if you smoke this cigarette, if you have this boyfriend, if you take off your hijab, we'll be proud of you, we'll be happy with you. You use these drugs, we'll be happy with you. We'll be pleased with you. You could be one of us. They're not giving them positive things to do. They're telling them negative things. When in actuality, what they're really saying is, if you smoke this cigarette, Shaitan will be happy with you. If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you drink this alcohol, this beer, Shaitan will be happy with you. They're not giving them something positive. They're giving them something negative to do, but yet they're giving them the same reward. They're offering them the same reward, the same acknowledgement, the same accolade that we offered them at home. We're giving them something positive to do, but we're offering them the same reward as their peers are now offering them. We'll be right back after a short break with more of how to save the Muslim families.
Let me die in a state of Islam, but life my day.
Marriage or divorce?
What's Islamic ruling?
Nikah.
Love book.
Solution or problem? Heaven or hell?
There is a misconception.
You choose. Beauty, wealth, family status, virtue. Decide what you want. Decide your choice. Be sad or be happy. It's your choice. Join Dr. Zakir Naik in Better Half or Bitter Half tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. and repeat telecast at 9:30 a.m. UK on Peace TV. The value of money in the hereafter will be measured by its proper use in the present.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة.
According to the glorious Quran, one of the best ways to use your money is to spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by spreading His message of Islam. Peace TV is a non-profit Islamic satellite television channel that is primarily dedicated for just that cause, the proper presentation of Islam. It's a great choice to invest in it and a golden opportunity to purify your wealth in a way that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Support Peace TV. Send your zakat and donations to IRFI Al Ryan Bank, 47 Calthorpe Road, Birmingham, UK, B151TH. Pound account number 011-32301. IBAN GB49ARAY 30008301 132301. Sort code 300083. Swift BIC code ARAY GB22. Please confirm your contribution at support@peacetv.tv.
Support Peace TV, the solution for humanity.
At the time of Nuh, peace be upon him, the floods swept the entire earth, sparing only those who believed. Today, floods of shirk, floods of innovation, and floods of desires and lust are sweeping the whole earth. Imam Malik ibn Anas of Medina said that the Sunnah is the Ark of Nuh. Whoever boards it is saved, and whoever refuses is drowned and is doomed forever. Join me in Al-Arba'in Al-Nawawiyya, the 40 hadith compiled by Imam Al-Nawawi.
Join Asim Al-Hakim in Al-Arba'in Al-Nawawiyya. Next on Peace TV.
Let me die in a state of Islam, alive my day.
Welcome back. We're glad you stayed tuned as we continue our series on saving the families. These other human beings that our children are associating with now, when they're away from us, they are telling them similar things, only they're giving them other things to do. They're not telling them positive things to do. They're giving them negative things to enjoy. Oh, yes, if you smoke this cigarette, we'll be proud of you, we'll be happy with you, you'll be like one of us. If you take that rag off your head, Fatima, we'll like you more, you'll be one of us. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, if you take a sip of this wine or beer, you'll be one of us, we'll like you more. We've already conditioned our children to seek the approval of human beings because we've conditioned their mind to seek our approval and telling them that if they do these things, we'll be happy with them. So here's some other human beings, only they're not giving them positive things to do. They're not encouraging them to do positive things. The dilemma is now they're with their peers, and many of their peers have not been brought up in the same type of household, the same type of household that promotes positive things. So these peers, these children or young people in their age group are saying things to them, which is in response to the training that they may have had at home. And they're saying, if you smoke this cigarette, if you have this boyfriend, if you take off your hijab, we'll be proud of you, we'll be happy with you. You use these drugs, we'll be happy with you. We'll be pleased with you, you could be one of us. They're not giving them positive things to do. They're telling them negative things. When in actuality, what they're really saying is, if you smoke this cigarette, Shaitan will be happy with you. If you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you drink this alcohol, this beer, Shaitan will be happy with you. They're not giving them something positive. They're giving them something negative to do, but yet they're giving them the same reward. They're offering them the same reward, the same acknowledgement, the same accolade that we offered them at home. We're giving them something positive to do, but we're offering them the same reward as their peers are now offering them. And our children, the shame and what's going on in society is our children are reacting to this. They're responding to this invitation by their peers. Many Muslim girls and boys are getting involved in haram acts because their friends are convincing them that that makes them cool, that makes them accepted. Their friends are encouraging them to do more things that's against the spirit of Islam. And now, since they are feeling more accepted, they're beginning to enjoy it. It's a shame that this is the epitome of what's going on throughout the world, especially in the United States of America. But it's going on around the world, where Muslim children are getting engaged in acts that are against Islam because they've been conditioned to seek the approval of human beings. And so what happens is that we, now after they learn these and start doing these habits, they pick up the profanity because it's the language of their peers. They pick up the bad habits, the clothing that they want to wear, because it's the clothing of their peers. The bad habits and traits, the bad relationships they get involved with, because it's the relationship of their peers. Who is to blame? We are. The parents are to blame. We try to justify everything that we encourage our children to do because we're afraid to give them the real truth about Islam. Then we try to compromise and use this society as an excuse. We have little young girls, 3 or 4 years old, Muslim girl. We bring them to the masjid dressed in little cute little party dresses. We think it's okay because that's the way the society is. And then they go around their friends and their friends accept them because they're dressed just like them. And then when our daughters grow into puberty and then they get into adolescent ages, 15, 16, 17 years old, and they still want to dress like we dressed them when they were 3 and 4 years old. Then we go to the imam complaining, "Oh, Imam, can you give a khutbah about why women should cover, why the girls should cover, wear their hijab? Can you give a khutbah about why boys shouldn't sag their pants, why they shouldn't have boyfriends and girlfriends? That's not fair." We're expecting an imam to fix in a 30-minute khutbah what we spent 16 years messing up, or 17 years, or 18 years messing up. There's a family that I know that every year they ask me to come to their house and sit down and talk to them during Ramadan to encourage their children, their grown children, to practice Islam better. They want me to fix 1 hour talk where they spent 20 years messing up. But we can't blame the peers. Then here's what happens after our children, they come back home after spending time all day with their peers, dressing like them, talking like them, enjoying the habits that they enjoy, and they bring those bad habits into the house. Then what do? We blame their peers. Or don't hang around those bad people. Don't hang around those bad kids. They're a bad influence on you. But those kids, those children would not have been any type of influence on them if we were doing our job. We need to own up to our responsibility and teach our children Tawheed. Teach them monotheism, the focus on Allah, the one God, and the acceptance and the validation of Allah. That's what we need to teach them. How can we do it? If we've already programmed our children to seek our approval, meaning to seek the approval of human beings, and we send them out in society seeking the approval of other human beings. How can we correct it, you might ask? Brothers and sisters, it's simple. All we have to do is change our language. Instead of telling our children and beating it into their brains that they make us happy, change our language and tell our children, no, if you wear your hijab, you make Allah happy, and we'll be happy with you because you're trying to make Allah happy. Wear your hijab, recite the Quran, memorize the Quran, and you'll please Allah, and we'll be happy with you because you're trying to please Allah. Dress properly, use good, clean language, and Allah will be pleased with you, and we'll be happy with you because you're trying to please Allah. Say your prayers on time. Say your prayers, and Allah will be pleased with you, and we'll be happy with you because you're trying to please Allah. Then if we teach our children that, to seek the pleasure of Allah, and we put that into their heads, Then when they return to the company of their friends, then when they return to the company of their peers, when they do that then and only then when their peers tell them, invite them to do wrong, they'll say, come on, Khadijah, come on, Bilal, Abdullah, smoke this cigarette and we'll be pleased with you. Have this boyfriend, have this girlfriend, we'll be pleased with you. And our children, because we program them correctly to seek the pleasure of Allah, they'll say, maybe you will, but Allah won't be pleased with me because I'm trying to please Allah. I'm not going to wear those short clothes, those short revealing clothes, because Allah won't be pleased with me because I'm trying to please Allah. Oh, you might be pleased, you might be happy, and Shaitan may be happy, but Allah will not be happy with me. So I'm inviting the brothers and sisters, we should change our language. We should change how we speak to our children, because the real cause of peer pressure is not their friends. That's a mistake that too many parents make. They blame the friends of their children for their children's shortcoming. They blame the friends of the children for the bad choices that they make. They blame the friends of their children, their peers. They blame them. It's not fair. We're the ones who caused it. We're the root of peer pressure. We have the audacity to blame our children's friends when they would ignore them if we gave them the best guidance before they left the house. Once we give the children the guidance, the proper guidance, then they will try to please Allah, and they will know that when you please Allah, there's nothing else that you do that means anything. Because everything that we say and everything that we do should be for the love and the pleasure of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is our duty, that is our calling, that is our task, to remind each other to seek the pleasure of Allah. Focus on Tawheed. Seek the pleasure of Allah. And we teach that to the children and teach them it is Allah whom we serve. We've already bore witness that we all agree that there's no power in this universe mightier than Allah. All the power comes from Him. And anything that has power gets its power from Allah. Anyone or anything that has wisdom gets that wisdom from Allah. Everything comes from Allah. So why is it that we think that it's necessary to try to impress someone other than Allah? That type of showing off is detrimental to the ummah, detrimental to the families, because it's nothing for us to brag about. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this deen to us, and it's a gift. We should consider it a blessing, and Allah even mentions that in the Quran, that we should count it as a favor that Allah gave us. He put a favor on us by allowing us to accept Islam. But utilize this Islam, brothers and sisters, to strengthen your families, because the root of the peer pressure that's been destroying the internal structure of the families, this peer pressure that's been destroying the children day by day, can only be dealt with properly and combated properly and effectively if we change our language and convince our children that whatever you do, whatever you accomplish, you do it for the love and the pleasure of Allah. And there's nothing else that would really matter, brothers and sisters. Because once we got in our mind that our children are dependent upon us for that example, they're innocent, and we voluntarily do that. We voluntarily assume, we underestimate our children's intelligence because we assume that this is what they want. They want to blend in with the society. When Allah trusts us with children, it's not our responsibility to make our children comfortable with what's going on in society. That's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to teach the children correctly, make them appreciate the oneness of Allah, to teach them correctly, give them the beauty of Islam in its correct form. And once we teach them that, we teach the children the beauty of Islam, then it'll be much easier for us to expect them to be successful in life, in this life and the afterlife, because we're conditioning them to seek the pleasure of Allah instead of conditioning them to seek the pleasure of human beings. That is the root of peer pressure. We need to quit blaming their friends and own up to our responsibility as parents and teach our children the Tawheed that's going to make them successful. May Allah forgive us our sins and grant us appreciation for the deen we claim we have accepted. Kuli kali hadar astaghfirullah, la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.